Welcome to Creative Arts, the podcast where we explore the deep and fascinating history of Black creativity across the arts. I am Jessica, and I am thrilled to have you here as we embark on this journey through the many layers of Black contributions to the creative and performing arts. Each week, we uncover incredible innovators, sensational stories, and dissect the voices that have shaped our cultural landscape in ways that often go unrecognized. This season, we're celebrating trailblazers who open doors not just for themselves, but for generations to come. Whether you're a longtime art enthusiast or just curious about the powerful intersection of creativity and history, this is the place for you. Before we dive into today's story, let's take a quick look at what's new and inspiring across the Black creative world. It's time for Creative Arts News, where we shine a light on culture, creativity, and the changemakers shaping the scene. First up, the king of pop is back on screen. The internet lit up this month when the first official trailer dropped for the highly anticipated Michael Jackson biopic, simply titled Michael. The teaser released on November 6, 2025, exploded online with more than 116 million views in just 24 hours, which makes it the most watched trailer for a music biopic in history. The film traces Jackson's incredible journey from his Jackson 5 beginnings to his reign as one of the greatest performers in history. And it doesn't shy away from the complexities of his life either. Directed by Anton Fuqua, the movie blends artistry and humanity, showing both the brilliance and the burden of being Michael. And what makes this film extra special is the Black talent at its core. Jackson's real-life nephew, Jafar Jackson, stars in the leading role, with Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson, Nia Long as Katherine Jackson, and Kat Graham as Diana Ross. With a reported $150 million budget and theatrical release slated for April 2026, Michael promises to be one of the most ambitious and emotionally charged music films ever made. Next, we move from pop royalty to the queen of movement herself, Camille A. Brown. Her newest short documentary, Camille A. Brown, Giant Steps, premiered on May 6, 2025 on PBS American Masters. The film, directed by Michelle Parkinson and Shelley N. Hamsworth, offer a breathtaking and behind-the-scenes look at Brown's creative process, from her Queens, New York roots to her groundbreaking choreography on Broadway and the concert stage. Through rehearsal footage, interviews, and classroom moments, Giant Steps show how Brown fuses African dance, social rhythm, and everyday gesture into a language of empowerment. As Brown puts it, dance can be both a mirror and a megaphone, reflecting identity while amplifying cultural pride. If you're into movement, storytelling, and the evolution of Black performance, Giant Steps is a must-see, and it is streaming now on all PBS platforms. And finally, a story that reminds us that strength can take many forms. R&B legend and pastor Montel Jordan, the voice behind the 1995 classic This Is How We Do It, is sharing a very personal fight with prostate cancer. Jordan was first diagnosed in early 2024 after a routine screening. Completing surgery, he believed he'd beat the disease. But this year, new scans revealed that the cancer had returned, spreading to his lymph nodes. Now at 56, Jordan is undergoing hormone therapy, staying grounded through faith, family, and purpose. He's also become a global ambassador for Zero Prostate Cancer, launching an awareness campaign and documentary project called Sustain, aimed at breaking stigma and encouraging early testing, especially among Black men who face higher risks. In his own words, I didn't have a template for this journey, so I'm trying to give one for the next man. Early detection saved my life. Doing nothing is not an option. Through it all, he says prayer, positivity, and community support have been his medicine, reminding fans that vulnerability and courage can't coexist. These stories, from the silver screen to the dance floor, to the stage of life itself, remind us that Black creativity isn't just about art. It's about resilience, representation, and rewriting the narrative. In this episode, we turn the spotlight to a woman who walked into Hollywood's earliest sets with dignity, determination, and grace. Her name, Madame Sul-Te-Wan, the first Black woman to sign a film contract in Hollywood history. Madame was born Nellie Crawford on March 7, 1873, in Louisville, Kentucky. Her parents, Silas and Amanda Crawford, were formerly enslaved, carving out new lives in the uncertain years after the Civil War. Her mother, a laundress by trade, taught young Nellie resilience, self-respect, and the power of presentation, values that would shape her life forever. As a child, Nellie loved storytelling and performance. Church recitals, community gatherings, and local minstrel acts gave her the first taste of an audience. But she quickly realized she wanted more than applause. She wanted representation. By her teens, Nellie joined a vaudeville and minstrel troupes, one of the few options for Black entertainers at the time. She was elegant, articulate, and carried herself with regal confidence. To set herself apart, she created a persona, Madame Sul-Te-Wan. The name sounded foreign, mysterious, and was crafted to command respect in an industry that often denied it. In an era obsessed with stereotypes, this reinvention was radical. She gave herself a title and insisted the world use it. In the 1890s, she married Robert Conley, a fellow performer. They had 3 sons, Odell, Honest, and Hughes, but the marriage didn't last. Robert left while she was pregnant with her 3rd child, forcing her to raise the boys alone. She never remarried. Instead, she poured her energy into her art and her children, 2 of whom, Odell and Honest, would later follow her into acting. Imagine it, a single Black mother at the turn of the century, navigating discrimination and financial hardship, yet determined to make her mark. That strength would carry her all the way to Los Angeles, just as silent films began transforming entertainment forever. Sometime around 1910 to 1912, Madame Sul-Te-Wan moved to LA, where the new movie industry was booming. Opportunity was slim for Black performers, but Madame had presence, poise, and persistence. She famously introduced herself to director D.W. Griffith while he was preparing his epic and deeply racist film, The Birth of a Nation, in 1915. Accounts differ. Some say she wrote him a letter, others say she marched into his office. Either way, she got the part. Her role was small and uncredited, but historically monumental. She became the first African American woman hired under a Hollywood film contract. That moment cracked open a door that had never before been opened for a Black actress. Even amid a film that demeaned Black people, Sul-Te-Wan's mere presence asserted existence, dignified and undeniable. Her career stretched nearly 4 decades, with appearances in more than 50 films. She played maids, nannies, and townspeople, roles that reflected the limitations of her time, but she infused them with dignity, honor, and humanity. Her credits include Intolerance in 1916, The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, 1921, Hearts in Dixie in 1929, one of the first all-Black sound films, Showboat 1936, Gone with the Wind, 1939, The Story of Seabiscuit, 1949, and Carmen Jones, 1954, alongside Dorothy Dandridge. She even appeared in Something of Value in 1957, starring Sidney Poitier, an astonishing bridge between silent cinema and the civil rights era. Through it all, she remained the embodiment of grace, always elegantly dressed, always professional, always Madame. On set, she demanded respect at a time when few Black women could. What made Madame Sul-Te-Wan special wasn't just her longevity. It was her vision. She understood the power of image, and she refused to let Hollywood dictate who she was. By styling herself as worldly and aristocratic, she flipped the script, forcing audiences to see her as more than just a stereotype. In an era where Black women were confined to servitude on screen, she projected royalty. That quiet confidence and defiance paved the way for Hattie McDaniel, Louise Beavers, Ethel Waters, and countless others. Off-screen, Madame Sul-Te-Wan was known for her sharp wit and warmth. Friends described her as gracious yet fiercely independent. She lived modestly in Los Angeles, maintaining ties to the Black artistic community and raising her sons with discipline and pride. Her son, Honest Conley, went on to appear in films during the 1930s and 40s, proof that her artistry became a family legacy. Despite the odds, she built a life defined by creativity and perseverance. Madame Sul-Te-Wan continued to act well into her 80s. She passed away on February 1st, 1959, in Los Angeles at the age of 85. She was laid to rest at Angeles Rosedale Cemetery, one of the first integrated cemeteries in the city, a fitting resting place for a woman who spent her life breaking boundaries. Her Los Angeles home was never officially preserved, and no monument yet bears her name, but her legacy lives on in archives, film stories, and hearts of those who study early Black cinema. For decades, her contributions went largely unrecognized, but today film historians have reclaimed her rightful place in history. She's featured in scholarly works like Toms, Coons, Mulattoes, Mammies, and Bucks by Donald Bogle, and the African American National Biography, edited by Henry Louis Gates, Jr. She's also honored in the PBS documentary Pioneers of African American Cinema. No star on the Walk of Fame yet. No grand statue yet. But her influence is felt every time a Black actress steps on set knowing she belongs there. Madame Sul-Te-Wan was the blueprint, the first Black woman to turn a contract into a declaration. I am here and I will be seen. Madame Sul-Te-Wan matters because she redefined possibility. She showed that presence itself can be powerful, that even in silence, dignity speaks volumes. From the child of enslaved parents to a woman whose name appeared on Hollywood payrolls, she personified perseverance. Her story reminds us that representation doesn't always start with recognition. It starts with showing up again and again until the world has no choice but to notice. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the life and legacy of Madame Sul-Te-Wan, a woman whose courage and elegance helped shape the foundation of Black performance in film. If her story moved you, share this episode and join the conversation using #CreativeArts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next episode. Until next time, stay creative, stay curious, and remember, our stories matter.